It's time to roll for Turaco. Welcome to Roll for Turaco. This is Frank. I made a couple of Deathbringer videos, and this is a continuation of one of those, the Deathbringer Kids. I made some character booklets for my kids. I thought I'd just show those a little bit here.
Not so fast, Truckle Boy. You made character booklets for your other characters, but you didn't make one for me. Fearmonger.
That is correct, Fearmonger. I didn't do that. Why don't we do that now? Before I make the character booklet, to take a close look at Fearmonger and look at his details and see what I want to keep, what I want to change. Is a hammer, sword, shield. It's got a long beard of quite a few braids. All right. I think I got everything that I need. Fearmonger is a fun character to draw and to work with. I can't believe that I didn't make a character booklet for him, so I'm correcting that mistake now. I started off with a very simple skeleton, just made up of shapes, and I didn't want just a very basic pose, which this could be considered a basic pose. He's standing around, but I wanted the arm just to be a little bit closer, holding his sword. I learned from the Death Warrior pose, or the illustration that I did for her. I was going off the Hero Forge design. She had her arms stretched out with her weapons, which looks cool, but when I wanted to put that on a character booklet, she would come out looking smaller. Now I want to make sure that that wasn't the case with Fearmonger. The original shield design on the miniature does look pretty cool. I do like it. I bought the miniature for a reason. The overall miniature looks fantastic, but I did want to make this my own, so I did try to redesign the shield just a little bit. I didn't want to go off too much, but I went to uh, just make some slight changes. And one of them was with the face. I redesigned it a couple of times, and this version was looking like someone that just had like big rabbit ears, but I wanted to think something a little bit more scary. So I made this face with some fangs. It could be some monster, some person that was mutated, and I drew a giant flame around it. So when you see that shield, when Fearmonger is using his shield and he's shoving it in your face, you see this big scary thing. Maybe it'll cause fear in you, hence the name Fearmonger. In case you are wondering, the program that I'm using is Clip Studio Paint, and I really do enjoy this program. I've had it for a couple of years, and I've used it for a majority of my art projects. I've drawn comics with it. I've drawn illustrations. I'll go over some sketch cards, and I'll use Clip Studio Paint. I do like this blue line feature, which it's a feature that I think is available in most art programs. So it's nothing new, but it was new to me when I first discovered it. I didn't even know that Clip Studio had that until someone showed it to me, and I've been using it ever since. And I think it just looks cool, the blue line, when you're first working on something. And if I want to, I'll separate an image and I'll turn that into a different color, and I can focus on that image separately. You saw that with the shield earlier. I used red line, and that just helped me just focus on that, and not worry about anything else about Fearmonger. Just working on that shield. Now you can see the illustration is coming together. Fearmonger is looking great. And it's almost going to get time to do some stats. So that is a part of the reason I did this video, to show you how to not necessarily roll up stats, because you're not doing a lot of rolling for the ability scores. The Deathbringer trifold or difold does have two tables that you can roll a d20 on, But everything else, the ability scores, it's very simple to come up with them. It's an 8-point system, and I will show you how to make your character. So that's what this video is doubling as a character build for the Deathbringer RPG. Fearmonger is ready. The character booklet is ready to go. Now it's time to drop in Fearmonger. And I'm going to be making some edits and some adjustments to make sure I have the best looking Fearmonger on this character booklet. So that's just going to take a few minutes. Thankfully, you don't have to wait that long. It is finished. Time to fill in the stats. Fearmonger is a Deathbringer. That's the fighter in the Deathbringer world. And the hit dice is a D10. For the ability scores, it's an 8-point system, so I'll be filling those out as I see fit. And for the defense, it's a 10 plus dex plus armor. And the armor for a Deathbringer is a +4. Now it's time to appoint the 8 points. For strength, I'm going to appoint a +4. He needs to be strong, almost too strong. For dex, I'm going to appoint a +2. For con, I'm going to leave that blank. For intelligence, I'm going to appoint a +1. For wisdom, I'm going to leave that blank. And for charisma, I'm going to appoint a +1. That takes care of the ability scores. Now let's do the defense, which replaces your AC. So that's a 10 plus your dexterity. That's 12 plus armor. That's 4. So that's 16. Your defense is 16. And that's it. That's your defense. Now for the hit dice, we're going to roll up a D10 and see what we come up with. Roll for Turaco! Oh, we got a 0, and a 0 for a D10 is 10. That means we have a 10 HP. Now, Fearmonger has his own character booklet, complete with stats, and I will be printing that out soon. As long as I have some time, let me show you the ones I made for my kids.
Not so fast, Turaco boy. You left some things blank. What's my background? What's my random misery? What's my motivation?
You got me there. Let's do that now. So I have the Deathbringer RPG, the default version. But for full disclosure, I want to let you know that I did already roll up stats. I wrote up the background. I wrote up random misery and other charts. I had an issue with my phone, so I'm re-recording. So what I'm going to do, instead of re-rolling and just hoping I get the same results, I'm going to tell you what I got and what I'm going to go with. So for background, I wrote up a few different times, but one of them was Pirate Sailor, Student Scholar, and Grave Robber, also Outlaw. So the Pirate Sailor, that goes in with Outlaw, so I can take out Outlaw. And let's look at Fearmonger. So he has a Viking aesthetic. So instead of pirate, I'm just going to go with Viking because it's right there in front of me. But while Viking, he did some pillaging and some sailing. So that kind of fits. I do like the Student Scholar. So I like to think that maybe when he was younger, he wanted to learn and know about things. And then later got into just embracing the Viking lifestyle. And I like to think with Grave Robber, maybe he, while pillaging, he robbed the grave because he heard there was it was a grave of a warrior, and there was a legend that he that he was buried with his great weapon, so he robbed the grave for to get that weapon. Now, for random misery, I rolled up. Where is it? This is the scandal. Fled a scandal. So I'm thinking with the grave robber uh, background. Uh, you know, that's the scandal. He was caught, and the that legend turned out to be a lie, and that's why it was a scandal. It wasn't a warrior's grave that he dug up. He dug up an old lady. So I'm gonna use that. So that takes care of background and random misery. And let's go into let's do some other charts. These extra charts that I use as supplements, I got these on the DungeonCraft Patreon. This is some of the versions of the Deathbringer game that Professor Dungeon Master is working on. So I just scoured those PDFs, and I got the ones that I wanted, and I use these as charts on for my table, my actual table. So I already wrote up these, and I was rolling up a name. So before Fearmonger, he was Udo. Actually, I like this too. Ulrich. Udo Ulrich. That was that's his name. So Udo Ulrich, Viking. For virtue, let's see I wrote up non-drinker. And for his vice, ruthless. So he's a ruthless Viking that did some grave robbery, and he was also on his way to be a scholar, but he embraced the Viking lifestyle. But he's a non-drinker, and his name is Udo Ulrich. So let's see. Random. Already did this. Birthplace. So I did get putrid, but I'm gonna change that to squalid. Village. Squalid village. For misery, on this chart, I got addicted. So that's the only one that I hadn't really dug into. What was he addicted to? Because he's a non-drinker, so he's not addicted to alcohol. What could he be addicted to? Maybe addicted to, killing. I think that's one that I can have fun figuring out. For parent fate, they're alive and well, and his siblings. He has an older sister, and she is protective of him. So that's what I wrote up for those. And true love, I wrote this up twice to see if I could get something better, and I ended up combining them. So she was wrongly executed, but because of that, he now does not believe true love exists. Fearmonger's character booklet is done. I will be printing out a copy soon, but so far I have it written down, so this is what I have. Udo Ulrich, or Ulrich, now known as Fearmonger, is a Viking, but he had an interest in learning, and he desired to be a student of philosophy. He embraced the life of a Viking, pillaging and terrorizing wherever he went. I like to think that his father and his friends kind of like they ridiculed and mocked him for wanting to learn, wanting to do something that had to do with intelligence. Maybe he wasn't that smart. All that is stuff I can figure out at the table. Correction. Fearmonger does have intelligence. He has a +1 intelligence. What he doesn't have is wisdom. So he's a little bit more gullible when he hears about rumors and things that could benefit him. So he can be easily tricked, but he does have intelligence. As the game goes on, and once I use him in the game, he'll probably gain some wisdom through trial and error. And he's also ruthless and a non-drinker. He heard a rumor of a great warrior that was buried with a great weapon that is rumored to be imbued with great power. A lot of greats. But turns out that he was tricked and misled by someone who he had terrorized. And the grave that Fearmonger dug up was that of a beloved old lady that was respected by everyone around her. So embarrassed, he fled. He was shamed and he fled. His true love was wrongly executed by being burned at the stake as a witch. And he now no longer believes in true love. He was born in a squalid village. He's addicted to power. So he wants that power, and that is why he was easily tricked into digging up a grave, because he was looking for something that will give him great power that he can use to rule over his enemies. Parents are living, and his older sister is protective of him. And that is Fearmonger, formerly known as Udo Orich. Hope you liked this video, and now Fearmonger has his stats, and I will be printing out his character book. And when I do that, I will be doing a video where I can go over these character booklets, and I'll show Fearmongers as well. This has been Frank Salazar from Roll for Turaco. We'll see you next time.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and if you can, tip. There's a link in the description below. Roll for Turaco.
Don't forget to roll for Turaco. Subscribe.